guys, it's Trina and today I have another debut review for you. This time it is for the 2017 debut novel Juniper Lemon's Happiness Index by Julie Isreal. As usual, I will be asking myself my set of questions that I ask about debut novels that I'm reading this year, just kind of trying to give you guys a good idea of whether or not this one is worth your time. But first of all, let me tell you what this book is about. It is a YA contemporary novel about our main character, Juniper Lemon, and she recently lost her sister. Her sister has passed away, and so not only is Juniper dealing with this hole in her life, but so are her parents and her entire friend group, and like her entire school was affected by it. She keeps a thing called a happiness index, and she does this in honor of her sister, where she writes down something that made her happy every single day, like whether or not it was good or bad day. She tries to write down something that made her happy, and she loses one of her index cards. So throughout the course of the story, she is trying to find that index card. And then another layer to this story is that while she's going through her sister's things, she finds a letter that her sister wrote to someone that she was romantically involved with, but no one knew her sister had a relationship. So Juniper is also trying to figure out who that person is. Is it someone they went to school with? Is it someone in their town? Was it a long distance relationship? Because Juniper wants to deliver that letter to whoever it was meant for so that they can maybe get some closure as well. So there are a couple of different layers to this story. There is the main aspect of grief and loss and how Juniper's life has been affected by her sister's death, and then there's also that slight mystery aspect of trying to figure out who the mystery lover was. I did know of this book prior to its release, although I never heard very much marketing for it, but I do run a Goodreads group where I just list out all the debuts that I know of, because I do search like publisher catalogs and stuff and try to keep an eye out for brand new authors and stuff. So I knew of this book and I was not interested in reading about it. I don't typically go for books that deal with grief. It's not something that I enjoy reliving in books because I've had a lot of it in my life as well. And the reason that I ultimately did end up picking up this book is because it was the Booktubeathon group pick this year, and I love Booktubeathon. It's the reason why I started my channel a few years ago, but I knew that this year I was not going to have the time or energy to really participate, and I was like, the one thing I can do is read the group book with them and still feel like I can, you know, discuss the things that the whole book community on YouTube is talking about that week. So that's why I picked it up. And I am really glad that I gave it a chance because I ended up enjoying this book a lot more than I thought I would. I do think this book delivers what it says it will. If you read the jacket summary or the Goodreads summary, that summary really does encompass most of the themes that are found throughout the entire book. The loss of her sister, the mystery letter, and some of the other friendships, and how Juniper discovers new friendships by searching for who that letter was to and by searching for her index card. As far as does the summary fit this book, did it give me the things that I felt that it was promising me, the answer to that is mostly yes. It did deliver what I was expecting from it. I really liked how this book handled loss. I thought that it was very realistic, very fitting. No one person's grief experience is going to ring true to everyone else in the world, but there were definitely many moments that hit me like, wow, that's a really good way to put that. So I did enjoy the exploration of loss, and I also really liked the friendships in this book. They do have their ups and downs, but I just really enjoyed how Juniper was a dedicated friend, and you know, she has some friendships that have ended, some new friendships that are forming, and I just really enjoyed, you know, that fully rounded experience. And I was also really captivated by that mystery element. Who is this letter to? Are we going to find out who that person is? Is it going to be delivered? How are they going to react? That kind of kept me a little bit hooked and kept me reading because I was always very intrigued by that aspect of the plot. However, what I disliked about the book is I wasn't a big fan of how that mystery element played out in the end. I can't say too much about it, obviously, because it's a mystery. I'm not going to give it away for you guys, but there was just something about it where I can completely appreciate how all of that wrapped up, but it didn't have the impact that I think I was expecting. So I think that could have been a little bit more well-rounded. I also was not a fan of the romantic love interest in this book. It was a very heavy bad boy trope, and that's my least favorite trope. You know, a lot of times I can deal with it, it's fine, but this guy was very textbook. I'm a bad boy, but I have a heart of gold and I have a troubled home life that makes me how I am. This was such a cliche. I couldn't get behind it, and you know, sometimes when you can't ship the main ship in a book, it makes you not like the book as much as you would have if you really shipped them. So, you know, that part wasn't working for me, but that's not the most important angle of this book, certainly. I I don't think this book really feels like a debut novel, which is a good thing because that means that this novel does not feel like just amateur writing, you know. This author does have room to grow. I believe that she could flesh things out more and have the story be a little bit more focused, but there were a lot of elements to this plot that keep you engaged. You know, if you're not into the lost thing, you might be into the mystery thing. If you're not in that, you might be into the grief or the friendships or whatever. So I think that there's a lot to it. I thought that it was well done, complex, so I do think that this was a well-crafted story. I did enjoy the characterization of most of the characters, aside from the bad boy trope, which was a little bit cliche. That could definitely be steered away from in Julie Isreal's next book, but I don't find any big problems with her writing. This author is a good writer. She does still have room to grow, and I am excited to see what she does in her next book. So I would definitely check out more by Julie Isreal. Really, it's going to depend on what her next book is about and if that synopsis is something that appeals to me or not. But this is definitely an author that I think is a pretty good writer, and I would definitely like to see more by her. Overall, I would recommend this book. I think that it was a good contemporary read. I am really glad that I gave it a shot. You may not like it so much if you don't like a heavy bad boy trope, or if you don't like books that explore loss, if that's just not your thing. A couple of content warnings that may make you want to stay away from this book are that there is an abusive parent character in the book, so there's a small depiction of child abuse, and there is also an inclusion of suicidal ideation by one of the side characters. So those are some things that I think they aren't handled poorly, but they are present in the book. If you don't want to read about those, if you'd be harmed or triggered by them, those are reasons why you may steer clear of this one, of course. But overall, I did enjoy this book, and I think if you like the YA contemporary genre, definitely check it out. I thought it was great. I was glad that I gave it a shot. Those are all my thoughts on Juniper Lemon's Happiness Index by Julie Isreal, and if you guys have read it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Did you read this book along with Booktubeathon like I did, or did you pick it up for other reasons? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review has been helpful, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!